He says here in the final part that I quoted here from the article, Israel should seriously consider striking Iran, experts say on IsraelNationalNews.com. As long as there was no deal, it was easier for Israel to strike. That's true. They should have carried out the strike 2 years ago, he said. This is not an easy decision, but it is what's needed to be done. That's exactly right. Now, there has to be a catalyst, something that will change the world's view, that will cause all the nations of the world to come against Israel, to literally gather against Israel in a battle. We can clearly see that Israel has already been facing criticism from the entire world. Everyone criticizes Israel because it's from where it's trying to survive. Clearly, the United States acting as the Vatican's force to create civil unrest, strife between its Arab nations, has been to topple the country to begin with, because Israel has not fully embraced Rome's right to be over Israel. And Rome is not satisfied with only getting Mount Zion. Clearly, this is not something that the Pope of Rome is just going to be satisfied with, okay, we got Mount Zion and that's it. The Pope of Rome is wanting to fulfill biblical prophecy, thinking that he is God's representative on earth, and therefore it'll be fulfilled when he is there, and that all nations will come into Israel because he is the new one world leader of the one world government, and also the one world religious leader as well. But this is being hindered because even though Israel has made concessions to Rome, they've given them Mount Zion, they give away the tomb of David in order to try to appease the Pope of Rome, but they've not fully embraced Rome, and so therefore Rome continues to incite violence between the Palestinians, the Hezbollah from the north out of Lebanon, and as well as with Hamas, to cause terror and attacks in Israel. Now, but the deal with Iran is the catalyst. This is what will bring the world against Israel. Let me first share with you 3 different prophetic insights so that you understand how this works. In Joel chapter 3, verse 2, it says, let me read verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And they have cast lots for my people and given a boy for a harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Now, just again, I want to bring you to another prophetic insight here, and that was from Joel. Let's go also to Zephaniah. And with Zephaniah, we're going to chapter 3, verse 8. And let's read this one here as well. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation. Even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Let's look at verse 9, though, for my Jewish brothers and sisters as well, to know what happens during this time. Now we see clearly that God is gathering the nations against Israel for a battle. For then I will turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord, Hashem, his divine name. We don't know how to say it. It's not Yahweh, but we don't know how to say it. He will return the divine language to be able to say this name at that time, to serve him with one consent. From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my supplants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering. And that day shalt thou not be ashamed for all thy doings wherein thou hast transgressed against me. So therefore something happens that causes Israel to realize her sins. Also in Zechariah, we'll conclude with this one right here. This is in chapter 14, verse 2. Read 1 and 2. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. So they're going to divide it. For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle, and the city shall be taken, and the houses rifled, and the women ravished. And half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall not be cut off from the city. Then shall the Lord go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle. Okay, so clearly, and we have the prophecy where God says to Moses he would do things greater than he did even in Egypt, miracles. So Moses will return with Eliyahu, Elijah the prophet. Moshe Eliyahu will come and God will bring judgment upon the earth. But what causes this to happen? We know the world is against Israel already as far as in political statements and things of that nature, but there must be something that drives the world to come with military might. And Iran deal is the one that does it. Why? Because the Iran deal seems to bring about a universal peace globally. And if they just can resolve the issue with Ukraine, with Russia and America, which no doubt they will, something's going to stop in there somewhere. It's going to look like a world peace is beginning to be established. And because of that, Israel, the only nation on earth that will stand against Iran, fearful of the threat, will try an attack on Iran. Now, whether or not they're successful or not, I don't know. They may be. And I can believe that they would be. But what will happen if Obama, according to Kuwaiti News, threatened to shoot down Israeli aircraft if they tried to go and attack Iran? It shows clearly that the United States is willing, under the Obama administration, to take and fight against Israel. What is this all about? All the nations of the earth militarily would turn against Israel. They're not, quote unquote, really trying to annihilate Israel from the outward point, but what they will try to bring to the world is that the only way to keep this peace going is to disarm Israel. And the only way they can disarm Israel is to have a military confrontation like they did in Iraq with Hussein when he was there. When he was in power in Iraq. The U.S. military goes in there not just to topple him, they couldn't topple him any other way, so they went in there with military force to topple Hussein, and they were successful. This is what the nations will do. They will take a United Nations force, they will come in against Israel to disarm the nation. It will be a bloodbath in doing so. Many of the Jewish people will be killed as a result, and this is how they will set up their they'll say it's biblical being fulfilled. Now Israel becomes a universal nation because they will justify their fight. They will say we're going to try to limit anything that we're doing, but we must go there. We must disarm Israel. That will be the fight that the United Nations forces that come against Israel. Easily Russia and Iran, all these nations would unite to do this because the whole purpose is to totally drive out the Jewish people. But of course they're going to say, the Jews will be welcome to stay, but we have to remove the political situation in Israel in order to disarm them, to make the world safer. This is what the Pope will push for as well. He'll say the only way to maintain peace is to take Israel under international control. Then Jerusalem would become an international city. This is when God fights for Israel. After they come in, after they break the nation down, then we see clearly from Zechariah's prophecy in chapter 14, then God fights for Israel. And how does he do it? I believe this just like he did with Moses. God says, I have come to deliver my people. I have come down. But then he did it through Moses and Aaron. He did all these incredible things to defeat Pharaoh's army. But now God is dealing with a modern day army. No wonder why he says with Moses, I will do greater things with you than I ever did. And he talks about doing just incredible things with Moses when he returns. And that prophecy has never been fulfilled. It is a prophecy that must be fulfilled. Iran is a catalyst. Brothers, sisters, friends that watch our Israeli News Live, this prophetic segment, you are watching prophecy unfold before your eyes. This is what will cause the world to bring about a military attack on Israel, they will justify it, a United Nations force to come in to try to, as they will call it, to disarm the political, they'll call it a political regime. They will say that Netanyahu has become part of a political regime, and they will say we have to do this for the security. They'll even say they're doing it for the security of the Jewish people that want peace. It's going to be a big movement, and therefore many Jews will die as a result of this. But yet God will step in. I believe this is where your two witnesses come in on the scene. And clearly, the thing will totally be turned around. Very interesting to see how this is going to happen. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun with Israeli News Live, your prophetic segment. I hope I've made this clear. I hope you understand what I've said to you today. Because I know it's a lot of information. But I trust it's a blessing for you as well. Listen to it many times over. Share this with your friends. If it's your first time listening, subscribe. We're always dealing with all kinds of issues here at Israeli News Live, as well as Dunun Institute of Biblical Research. And we certainly hope it's a blessing. Shalom.